and today we're talking about what are your daily MVPs. And we're here with my Facebook fam. What are MVPs specifically, Coach? These are what are your most valuable priorities. That might be the first thing you write down. What are my daily MVPs, most valuable priorities? The critical mistake was I spent majority of my time on things that didn't have the impact that was going to allow me to actually grow the business. Does that make sense? Right? So especially if you have limited time, if you work in a 9 to 5, if you have a family, if you have health issues, if you have it don't matter, like whatever it is, we all have a lot of different things going on, right? Most of us. So which means that when you decide, hey, you know what, I'm passionate about this business and I want to put in time working on this business, then you got to understand that your time is a limited resource. And as your time being a limited resource, you should be responsible to yourself, be responsible to your family, be responsible to your kids. Like, just be responsible to where you're not just spending your time doing anything, and you're spending your time on the activities that's going to allow you to make the most amount of progress so you can transform the lives you want to transform, and it's going to allow you to generate the type of income that you want to generate. Okay? So that's a big key. Hold on one second. So that's a big key, right? So real quick, one of the things that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one question. I'm gonna take the first question that I get. I'm also here with my Facebook family too. I'm here with IG. So whoever has a question about business, go ahead and type that in the chat. But I'm gonna break down a little bit more, like, well, how do I figure out what my priorities are, right? How do I figure out what my MVPs are? So when you're looking at your MVPs, your most valuable priorities, your goal is gonna be, okay, what am I looking to accomplish in my business right now, right? A lot of times it's you want to get clients, you want to generate income, right? If I had to start all over again, I would focus less time on making things look so perfect and pretty and make it look nice and try to and you want it to have a certain level of brand perception. So you want it to look, you want it to look decent. But if I had to start over today as a coach or as a speaker, one of the things I will focus on is I will focus on creating a product, and how do I actually learn how to deliver it in a way that the person that I'm having a conversation with can see what that value is, and then they can pay me. If you are scared to get on the phone, you'll be broke. Period. Write it down. I will be broke if I am scared to get on the phone. Underline it, underscore it, bold it, circle it. That's what it is. What are your daily MVPs, most valuable priorities? Let me give you some, especially if you're in our industry. Let me give you some ideas. So one could be reaching out to potential clients, right, or prospects. Who are people that you have identified in your network that can potentially utilize your product or utilize your service? You should be spending a certain amount of time in your day connecting with potential clients. If you are not doing that, you are not putting yourself in what I call miracle territory. Miracle territory is where your clients are presented with an offer. If you don't have people who are presented with your offer on a daily basis, I can virtually guarantee that you didn't make any money. I could virtually guarantee it, because there's a lot of times that people are not just going to wake up out of bed and say, oh, I want to buy your thing, right? You have to facilitate that process in some kind of way, whether you're doing that through email marketing, whether you're doing that because you're booking appointments and you're booking consultation calls, whether you're doing that because you're doing trainings, you're doing, you're doing webinars, you're doing live trainings, you're doing something that you at a live event, you're a vendor, you're speaking on stage. You feel what I'm saying? Like, every one of those examples that I just gave you has allowed it in it says my offer has been presented to my ideal audience. And if I sat down and I have a conversation with you and I said, pull out your calendar for the last 30 days and I want us to walk through every day and I want you to tell me when when has your audience been presented with your offer. If you cannot tell me, I know that people have been seeing my offer on these days of the week or every day or through these mediums or through these means, then I know for a fact you didn't generate any income. I know for a fact. I can guess your bank account, your business bank account, right? Because you're not producing. Like, so this is the kind of conversation people in my group have, right? But this is I want to give you that gift of this is how you should think about your business and like growing it. Because outside of that, you're not going to grow it, right? So I want you to think about you growing your business in days. Every day that you wake up and your eyes open, right? You should have, even before you start your day, this is why I go so hard over the Productive Lifestyle Planner. All my members that's part of my programs have this, right? And it's not for my own self-interest, self-gain, because I'm not getting rich off of this, but this is my Productive Lifestyle Planner. Like, your goal is gonna be fill it out. You know what I mean? Like, I fill this out. I don't know if you can see it, but you know what I mean? So I mean, like, yo, fill it out. You know what I mean? Like, and what that's doing is that's allowing you to say, this is what's most important to me today. These are the top, like, do the Warren Buffett method. What are my top 3 most valuable priorities for the day? I know for a fact if I do these things, it's gonna move my business ahead. And one of those 3 priorities better be you presenting your offer in some kind of way to your ideal audience. What I found is that when you have conversations, that's the fastest, that's the easiest way to do it, right? Maybe I'll put it this way, not necessarily the easiest, but it's the fastest and the simplest way to do it. It might not be easy because being on coaching calls or consultation calls is an art and is a science to it, right? So you got to learn how to do that. But the reason that's one of the best ways to do it is because you get immediate feedback, right? People tell you what they like or they don't like, what they're interested in, what they're not interested in. You could tell if the offer you have works. You could tell if the price point you have work, right? And what I train a lot on, and I train my members on, is like, listen, don't be afraid to change it, right? You can offer different specials and different bonuses based on who you're talking to, right? So because you hear when you're testing it and it's your program, right? So it's important that you realize, okay, what are my MVPs, and make sure that those MVPs have something in terms of you presenting your offer. Even if it's, I'll give you a pass, even if it's like, let's say if you're doing a webinar, right? Now, part of a webinar is you putting together a presentation. So let's say you're putting together a PowerPoint deck. I'm okay with you spending the day creating, or a couple days spent creating a PowerPoint deck, right? Don't spend 6 months creating a PowerPoint deck. You know what I'm saying? Because you just lost a half year's worth of income. But I'm okay with you spending a day or a couple of days creating a PowerPoint deck to present on a webinar that could potentially get you multiple clients at once. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so that's okay, because although it's not a direct activity that's generating you income, meaning although it's not directly putting you into miracle territory, it is setting up miracle territory. You know what I mean? So if it's not basically like a sub priority or most valuable priority, I wouldn't spend much time on it. The other things are important, so you sprinkle it in over time. So let's say if you complete your 3 most valuable priorities, let's say if you complete that by 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the evening, and it's like, okay, cool, I still got an hour, I still got 30 minutes, I still got 2 hours to play with. Okay, now that I got my most valuable priorities out of the way, Let me work on these other things. Okay, let me work on the website. Let me work on the colors, right? Let me work on that. Let me work on that. You feel what I'm saying? Like that is when you start getting things going. All right.